Greetings, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen. This is Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shifara Olako. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Addis Ababa yesterday evening on a working visit to Ethiopia. Upon arrival at the Bole International Airport, the Secretary of State was warmly welcomed by Misganu Arga, State Minister for Foreign Affairs, and other senior government officials. Blinken is expected to meet with various stakeholders in Ethiopia and discuss the implementation of cessation of hostilities agreement between the federal government and the TPLF. Let's have a look at the following story. Well, dear viewers, we're going to stay on this issue, and I'm joined here in the studio by my colleague Goshu Malso, and he's going to tell us some of the things that he observed when it comes to Antony Blinken's visit to Ethiopia. Goshu, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Shfi.
So, Antony Blinken is in Ethiopia. He has already met with his Ethiopian counterpart, Dammaqe Mokonnon. What more can you tell me?
Okay, as it is stated in the news, since the State Department announced his trip to Ethiopia, it was headlines in various media outlets, and still several media is giving coverage for this event. And now U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived yesterday evening with his delegation. Upon his arrival, Misganu Arga, State Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Ambassador Sleshi Bekkele, Ethiopia's ambassador to the United States, greeted him at Bole International Airport. During his visit, he will meet with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, other senior government officials, civil society organizations, humanitarian organizations, as well as AU chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat. Already he discussed with Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammaqe Mokonnon. So he is also expected to discuss the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement, Pretoria Peace Agreement, food security and humanitarian supply in Ethiopia. Since the outbreak of the war in northern Ethiopia, as we remember that, the relationship between the two countries were a bit strained. So there were also embargoes on Ethiopia regarding, including AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act. That is still that sanction is not lifted, which is just made many people out of job, particularly women. And after the Pretoria Peace Agreement, which is a game-changer agreement under the auspices of the AU, now this peace agreement has changed the situation, and the two countries' relationship has shown improvement. And after US Africa Summit, even US announced that it will follow a new policy on Africa. I think his visit is part of that. And the United States and Ethiopia share based on mutual interest in promoting peace, stability and economic development. The United States has maintained diplomatic relationship with Ethiopia since 1903. It is they have historic relationship. So Blinken in his Twitter page remarked that during his visit to Ethiopia and Niger, he will discuss shared global regional priorities. African nations are critical partners in food security, climate crisis, global health, human rights and peace, Blinken stated. He added they deserve greater representation in the global institutions, he said. I think his visit will refresh the relationship between the two countries. And this is some of the parts what I have seen in social media over the past 24 hours. I hope we will keep update our viewers in our evening news hour. That's all from me, Shafi.
Yeah, Goshu, thank you so much for that update. And definitely his visit will beef up the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and the United States of America.
Thank you, Goshu. Thank you.
And now let's move to other stories. An expert says transitional justice remains pivotal to provide remedy to victims and enhance trust between and among members of the society, over and above helping protect human rights. Approached by ETV, Misgana Mulugeta, a member of the Transitional Justice Working Group, reiterated that in the case of Ethiopia, the past has to be addressed with transitional justice to bring about the desired accountability. Tegisarnis has the following story.
Transitional justice aims to provide recognition to victims, enhance the trust of individuals in state institutions, reinforce respect for human rights, and promote the rule of law as a step towards reconciliation and the prevention of new violations. Talking to ETV, Misgana Mulugeta, Transitional Justice Working Group member, reiterated that in Ethiopia's case, the past has to be addressed with transitional justice and the sense of reconciliation and accountability as well.
So, in Ethiopia, the basic assumption is our country is in transition. There has been widespread, numerous human rights violations, some perpetrated by state actors, some perpetrated by non-state actors. We have had widespread conflicts that have resulted in a lot of human rights violation. And in order to transition to, like you said, a country with rule of law, justice, this past must be addressed and must be addressed not only with reconciliation, but also with accountability. So an approach like transitional justice gives you a whole sum of these components.
He went on saying that the goal of transitional justice in Ethiopian context is to redress the need of the victims.
Like I said, transitional justice is a process that has been tried in many different contexts, so we have to adopt it to our own context. Transitional justice processes are effective if they are nationally led, domestically driven. So we have to bring out what a lot of stakeholders feel about these different options. So the goal of this process is getting inputs on the transitional justice options. But the goal of the transitional justice process itself will be justice, will be satisfying, the need for victims' redress, reconciliation, truth-seeking, and then it will thoroughly be defined by the process itself. So I think it must be clear that the process we're now undertaking is a preparatory process of a policy which leads to a kickstart of an actual transitional justice policy being informed by this consultation.
Misgana called on every stakeholder to take part their inputs in every platform.
So hopefully there will be a widespread consultation, and hopefully we get the inputs and everybody participates. And again, this is, I want to reiterate what I said earlier about the call for every stakeholder to take this opportunity seriously. Transitional justice is a very serious undertaking. It's a very important undertaking. I believe we shouldn't fail again on this. If we make it work, I think it will solve a lot of problems in our country. So every stakeholder, opposition parties, I urge them to use the opportunity to get their inputs, but also to send their inputs in writing, to challenge us, to argue with the options, to say this doesn't work, this would work. And then, we have to seize this opportunity that this policy making process is genuinely consultative. And in order to make sure that happens, then we need an active participation of the stakeholders you mentioned.
It is to be recalled that Ethiopia signed a peace agreement in November 2022 in Pretoria, South Africa. And in January, the government published a draft document on policy options for transitional justice.
Now, a delegation led by Speaker of the House of Federation, Agenyo Tashagar, is taking part in the 146th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, in Bahrain. The assembly is being held this week and is hosted by the Parliament of Bahrain. Aganyo addressed the assembly on a range of subjects, including efforts to ensure lasting peace in Ethiopia, effects of COVID-19 on Ethiopia's economy, climate change-induced drought in the region, and environmental protection initiatives. He also briefed participants on the steps taken by the government to ensure lasting peace in the country by establishing the All-Inclusive National Dialogue Commission and bring an end to the conflict in the northern part of Ethiopia after the Pretoria Peace Agreement. And the tourism has fetched a whopping $257.5 million into Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. The amount was generated by tourists who visited the metropolis over the past 6 months. This came here when Mayor of the city presented a half-year performance report to the 138-member Addis Ababa City Council, which began its regular session. According to the Mayor, Adanej Abebe, 1,224,000 foreign tourists have visited Addis Ababa during the last 6 months. In a report, the mayor also indicated that the city administration has undertaken successful activities in fully implementing the digital identification system. The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Misganu Arga, met and held talks with Robert Shetking-Tong, Indian ambassador to Ethiopia and the African Union. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the two sides discussed bilateral and multilateral matters of mutual concern. The ministry added that during the conversation, Ambassador Misganu stated that trade, investment and development cooperation are all parts of Ethiopia and India's extensive economic and commercial ties, which have transformed into a comprehensive development partnership. The Indian ambassador to Ethiopia, for his part, said that this year has marked the 75th anniversary of the diplomatic relationship between Ethiopia and India, recalling that the two countries of their past achievements and the areas they still need to improve to strengthen their ties. The Ethiopian Investment Commission and Pakistani investors have signed a memorandum of understanding for the establishment of pharmaceutical, packaging and industrial park development projects, according to the EIC. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Ethiopian Investment Commissioner Lelise Neme reaffirmed the commitment of the government to strengthen Pakistan investment in Ethiopia. She indicated the significance of the MOU toward establishing a long-term collaboration between EIC and Pakistani investors. On the occasion, EIC disclosed the development of the Pakistani-Ethiopia Friendship Industrial Park, which is planned to be built with a capital of $100 million. Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Ethiopia has subsidized 21 billion birr for the purchase of fertilizers during the Ethiopian crop season of 2015-16, according to the Ministry of Agriculture. Briefing journalists about the activities to supply the market with agricultural inputs and machinery yesterday, the Agriculture Minister Girma Amanté underlined that the efforts are all well underway to sustain the achievements registered in the agricultural production. The government is subsidizing fertilizer in order to alleviate the burden of farmers facing sharp increase of fertilizer due to the Russo-Ukraine war. The subsidy will significantly increase production and productivity, Girma stated, adding that efforts are also well underway to avail improved seed and agrochemicals. Now, the World Health Organization, in partnership with the Africa Center for Disease Control, has mapped out 6 countries for vaccine manufacture. According to Amref Health Africa, the countries identified include Rwanda, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, and Algeria. WHO Director of Universal Health Coverage in Africa has said the establishment of manufacturing plants will also guarantee a fight against future pandemics. As reported by AMREF, the WHO is working towards improving regulatory capacities for the countries through Africa Medicines Agency, which was established last year, it was disclosed. Moving on, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, discloses its interest to enhance cooperation with Africa in civilian nuclear technology. IAEA representatives of nearly 40 African countries are participating in the 2023 annual National Liaison Officers meeting here in Addis Ababa. Kasaun Chane has more on that from the Ethiopian News Agency.
The annual meeting being held under the theme Paradigm Shift is aimed at enhancing the technical collaboration between African countries and IAEA. The 5-day meeting is expected to emphasize the significance of change and innovation to achieve self-development goals through nuclear science and technology, it was learned. Speaking at the event, Deputy Director General and Head of the Department of Technical Cooperation, IAEA, said the meeting aims to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the technical cooperation program in Africa. Significant progress has been made in the region in recent years, he said, adding it is essential that Africa continue its efforts to develop and implement a program of maximum benefit to the country's socio-economic development.
The agency continues to provide its support for the newcomer countries in nuclear energy, especially SMR, Small Modular Reactor, through inter-regional project and also some countries in national project. It also contributes to global efforts to address climate change. I note that a growing number of African member states are focusing their attention on nuclear power, research reactor, and irradiation technology, and encourage you to take advantage of the support of the agency efforts in these areas.
Speaking at the event, Ethiopian Minister of Innovation and Technology, Beleda Molla, said, as a founding member of the IAEA since its establishment in 1957, Ethiopia through years has enhanced its collaboration with the agency. He further stated that Ethiopia is highly committed and strongly supported the mandates of the agency towards non-proliferation, nuclear safety, and promoting peaceful applications of nuclear science and technology for sustainable development.
The government of Ethiopia is committed for advancing nuclear science and technology for development, including exploring the potential of nuclear power for electric generation, and substantive measures are underway to establish the Center for Nuclear Science and Technology, CNST, through establishing an institute for sustainably manage the sector.
Director for the Division for Africa of the Department of Technical Cooperation also said their gathering will be vital to restore information and means which help them produce documents and resource-based management.
As you know, technical cooperation program is a shared responsibility that the agency, the International Atomic Agency, plays a role. But also this program belongs to you. We are here to help in terms of building capacities and capability for sustainable development.
The National Liaison Officers and Afro-National Coordinators meeting will remain in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and will remain open until 17th of March and expected to adopt concrete measures and actions to further improve the planning and formulation of the next technical cooperation cycle for 2024-2025, it was noted.
And now in business, Ethio Telecom and Samsung Company have formed a partnership to supply various Samsung Galaxy mobile handsets. Ethio Telecom says it has been actively engaged in digitizing daily societal business activities in Ethiopia. Kasaun Chane takes it from here.
In collaboration with Samsung, Ethio Telecom staged the Galaxy S23 series launch event and formally began selling the Galaxy S23, Galaxy S23 Plus and spectacular Galaxy S23 Ultra in Ethiopia.
Samsung Ultra na Samsung S23 Ultra.
Customers who purchase the Galaxy S23 Ultra from Ethio Telecom will receive a free pair of Galaxy Buds 2 valued at 11,300 Ethiopian birr, while those who purchase the S23 Plus and S23 will receive a free silicone cover valued at 1,200 birr. The price of the Galaxy S23 Ultra is 140,000 birr, and the Galaxy S23 is 105,000 birr, and the Galaxy S23 is 95,000 birr. The devices also come with a 24-month warranty and Samsung Care Plus, which guarantees that they are covered in the event of any unintentional damage.
In order to increase their market share in the East African market, the two companies will introduce the Epic Galaxy S23 line of handsets into the Ethiopian market. The amazing camera on the Samsung Galaxy provides users more opportunity to express their creativity, allowing them to make nightography videos that are really cinematic.
This partnership between Ethio Telecom and Samsung is a big partnership. And one of the things that we sat together and talked about is how to improve the lives of Ethiopian people to be able to enjoy, experience, and get to use flagship devices in this market. The S23 is our topmost product in our flagship devices. This we launched in 2023 on this month, on the same, and we have been going country by country doing official launches. Ethiopia is very important to Samsung, and Samsung has looked at how to reach the market, and one of our partners is Ethiopia Telecom.
According to the agreement, in order to balance performance and power for photography, videography, low latency gaming and other users, the Galaxy S23 Ultra's graphics performance has been accelerated by more than 40%, and its performance has also been optimized by more than 40%. When real-time ray tracing enters the mainstream of mobile gaming, Galaxy S23 Ultra is prepared to support it in anticipation of the future of utmost digital realism. The technology that replicates and tracks every ray of light will enable users to perceive scenes that are substantially more lifelike. Samsung Galaxy is taking extra steps with the Galaxy S23 series to lessen its environmental effect without sacrificing quality or design, according to Ethio Telecom.
I just want to tell you guys, Akwaba, Karibu, welcome to Ghana!
My name is Princess Umu Hatia. I am the globe-trotting princess and author. Welcome to my city, Accra. Accra is the capital of Ghana. Now today I'm taking you on a tour to various places in the city. We're carrying currently at the Independence Square in Accra. Now, the Independence Square is the second largest square in the world after Tiananmen Square. Accra has about 4 million people. Accra is a major economic trading hub of Ghana. We're in Makola Market. Makola Market is the second largest market in West Africa. This is where I come to buy all my fabrics, food stuff. It's a busy, bustly place. It's a lovely place to come. So if you want to get any souvenirs, Makola Market is the place to come. Now, come on with me.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and now in our continental news coverage, Cyclone Freddy has left hundreds dead in Malawi and Mozambique. Shagamatao has produced the following story.
Cyclone Freddy, packing powerful winds and torrential rain on its return to Malawi and Mozambique, has left more than 100 people dead. Malawi bought the brunt, counting at least 99 deaths after mudslide overnight, washed away houses and sleeping occupants. Another 134 people were injured and 16 are reported missing, according to authorities.
The effects of Cyclone Freddy at the moment are so devastating. We are conveying the dead bodies whenever we have found them to Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital mortuary, of which is currently now full. But still more, we'll still be going there with the dead bodies that will be still coming.
The impact of the cyclone has brought more rulers on the country, grappling with the deadliest cholera outbreak in its history, which has killed over 1,600 people since last year. According to the UN's World Meteorological Organization, Cyclone Freddy, which formed of northwestern Australia in the first week of February, was said to become the longest-lasting tropical cyclone in record. In total, it has so far killed at least 136 people, 99 in Malawi, 20 in Mozambique, and 17 in Madagascar.
Well, dear viewers, you have been watching Addis News Hour, and now a quick recap of the top story. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrives in Addis Ababa and confers with his Ethiopian counterpart.